Hello, and welcome to the Linux Board Porting online series. My name is Steve Preissig, and I'll be presenting the 3 lectures and 6 lab exercises that comprise this online training. The Linux Board Porting online series is comprised of 9 online modules of approximately 10 minutes each. The series begins with 3 lectures. The first is an overview of the entire board porting process. The second lecture is a detailed look at the process of booting Linux on a Cortex-A8 device. And the final lecture presents an overview of the structure of the source code for both U-boot and the Linux kernel. The next 3 modules are hands-on exercises covering the procedure for a board port of U-boot. In the first exercise, I will install Code Composer Studio. In the next exercise, I will show you how to build U-boot from source code with a Code Composer Studio project. And in the final module, I will set up a JTAG debugging configuration for U-boot inside of Code Composer Studio. The final 3 modules cover debugging of the Linux kernel. We will begin by installing the SDK, which will also install Minicom and a TFTP server, which are both required. And we will rebuild the Linux kernel to include debugging symbols. In the next module, I will configure a bootable multimedia card and set this multimedia card up to boot the SPL and U-boot from the MMC, and then use TFTP to load the Linux kernel with debug symbols onto the device. In the final module of the series, we will set up a JTAG configuration to debug the Linux kernel using Code Composer Studio. This concludes the introduction to the Linux Board Porting online series. Please proceed to Module 2, which is the Linux Board Port overview.